What's up, guys? You are just in time for today's video, and we're going to be talking about the top traded candidates so far in week 4. Let's jump right into it. So this right here is a list of players that's been traded for the most part so far in 2024, and I'm going to give you the players you should trade for, trade away, and the players you should probably hold, along with a couple of extra players that I feel like adding on. Let's not waste any more time. One of the first players you should trade for is Sam Darnold. Yes, right now he's the quarterback too, but that's not why I'm saying you should trade for him. He's looking like a surefire, safe floor, high upside quarterback. They can get you anywhere between 17 and 19 points on the low end and 25 to 30 points on the high end. You got Justin Jetta, who's looking like a top wide receiver. I'm not sure why we doubted him. I was one of them who doubted him, but again, he's proven us all wrong. He has Jordan Addison coming back, if not this week, by next week. He has Jalen Nailor, who's filling in very good for Jordan Addison. TJ Hawkinson's coming back. Aaron Jones is playing at an all-time level. He has weapons everywhere on the floor. This coaching staff is putting him in positions to win. He's no longer a streaming option at this point. He should be a lock in your lineups. Trade for Sam Darnold. Another player on this list you should trade for is Jordan Mason. Now, hear me out. I know a lot of people are saying CMC is going to be back. Why would I trade for Jordan Mason? He only has, maybe in between 3 to 5 more games of value. Why would I trade for somebody like that? We're not even sure CMC is going to be back at this point. And if he does come back, is he even going to be relevant for the fantasy season? A lot of Jordan Mason owners are getting frantic and getting to the point where they think he's not going to be worth anything soon, so they want to get rid of him while his value is still high. Give these guys a couple of players you might not even be using, a running back here or there where they can feel comfortable with the trade, and you can have yourself a stud for at the very least 4 to 5 more weeks, and probably even longer. It doesn't look like CMC is coming back anytime soon. I would take the chance on Jordan Mason. A couple of wide receivers I would take the chance on is Jalen Waddle. At this point, between him and Tyreek Hill, their value is at an all-time low. I don't think it can get much lower. With the quarterback position of not having Tua, Skylar Thompson playing like garbage, and they're moving on to the next guy. They had a terrible game last week, and a lot of people saw that and said, well, this is what this offense is going to be. I think you can buy Jalen Waddle at an all-time low. Now, don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying you're buying Jalen Waddle and you're getting a top 5 wide receiver. But at the same time, his value can't get any worse. So what you're going to have to give up for him isn't much, and he has high upside. If they can get competent quarterback play from Tyler Huntley or at least someone else other than Skylar Thompson, you're going to be happy with the value that you get from Jalen Waddle. And they're also scheming a lot of plays for him at the line of scrimmage, a lot of screen passes, a lot of quick screens. It's not like Tyreek Hill where you need that long bomb and they're just trying to hit deep. Jalen Waddle getting a lot of passes at the line of scrimmage, which is good in a full PPR setting. I also want to talk about Chris Olave. The Saints offense has one bad week and everyone's pretty much down on them. But at the same time, Chris Olave is starting to show that he is the alpha, not Rashid Shaheed. We've seen what Shaheed could be. If he doesn't get that long bomb, he's going to get 2 catches a game, and if one of them's not a touchdown, you're not happy. Olave is the wide receiver you want in this offense, which we already knew that. But again, a lot of players are already down on him. And a lot of managers feel like they want to use this game as a sell high because he had a couple of bad games. They might not be confident in him repeating the success, especially with Taysom Hill coming back. So see if you can find managers who feel like they're going to sell high on Chris Olave and get him at a bargain. On this list, the players that I want to trade away is, again, like we just talked about, Rashid Shaheed. He's a one-trick pony, and we already knew that coming into the season. He was the same thing last year, boom or bust. He exceeded expectations the first few weeks, but we already knew it wasn't going to continue, and we've seen what, a floor game for him, 0 points. Yes, he had a handful of targets, and, he's going to hit on the big play every once in a while, but when he doesn't, he's not playable, and he can really kill you in your fantasy lineup. Just like we talked about with the running back positions with Jordan Mason. CMC is someone I'm going to sell. We're not even sure he's going to come back this fantasy season. He's probably going to come back later on in the season and slowly increase workload and ramp up for the playoffs. They seen what happened when they rushed him back so early. They don't want to rush him back and lose him for the year. So, 4 to 6 weeks, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that he's probably going to come back at the very earliest, maybe week 10, week 11. And at that point, is he going to be worth anything? Not really, because again, you have to ramp him up. They're not going to just give him right back into the 20 to 25 touches. They're going to ease him into it. They're still going to be using Jordan Mason. Again, they want to save him for the playoffs, not the regular season. This 49er team is decimated with injuries already. Trent Brown, Debo, CMC, George Kittle. So again, they're not going to rush these guys back. They want to save them for the playoffs. As long as they can tread water and be at the very least above 500, when they get their studs back, they'll be more than happy to let them rest as long as possible as they're winning. I don't think the CMC is going to be a factor for the fantasy season. At the end of the day, yes, he might come back. So if you're going to trade him, don't get me wrong, you want to get value and you want to be content with your trade. I'm not saying go and trade him for your, a handcuff running back just to get him off your team. If you're going to trade him, get some type of value, get at least a starter so you can feel confident in the trade. Even if CMC comes back, at least you felt you got somebody worth starting on your team. A couple of wide receivers I'm going to trade away. One being Michael Pittman. This offense just doesn't have any consistency, and this offense is a low floor offense because of the low pass. Anthony Richardson has been disappointing in this fantasy season, which is causing all his weapons to be disappointing also. Josh Downs are coming back, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce. You don't really, who's the guy in this offense? You don't really know because you got Anthony Richardson throwing the ball anywhere between 10 and 15 times a week, and you're having to split it up between 4 to 5 people. That's not going to be a good look for your players. You're not going to get a lot from Michael Pittman because his value is pretty much down, but see if you can package him to upgrade one of the position. Maybe trade Michael Pittman and a running back to upgrade that position. See if you can get someone based off his name value. In the same conversation, I want to talk about Calvin Ridley. Pretty much the same thing. The offense is not going anywhere. This is not an offense you want pieces of. It's not like it's the 49er offense or the Philadelphia Eagle offense. This is not an offense you want pieces of. So again, see if you can sell them for, pennies on the dollar, use their name value, use their draft capital, and package these players to upgrade other positions. You can package a Calvin Ridley and a, Zach Moss, and maybe try and get a Brian Robinson or something of that nature. It could be done. And last but not least, the other wide receiver on this list that I want to sell is Tank Dell. As much as I hate to say that, I don't want to give up on Tank Dell this early because they're in a high-powered offense. And like I was talking about with the Philadelphia Eagles and the 49ers, you want a piece of that offense. This Texans offense is something you want a piece of. You got 3 stout wide receivers. You got Joe Mixon. You got a good tight end. You got a quarterback that can get them all the ball. But at the end of the day, he's playing all these snaps and running all these routes, but he is always going to be the third fiddle on this offense. Some weeks it's Nico Collins, some weeks it's Stephon Diggs, but we've never had a Tank that week. And similar to Rashid Shaheed, he needs that big playability to do damage. Nico Collins is a down the field threat. Stephon Diggs is the PPR machine in this offense. Tank Dell is not a PPR machine, so if he doesn't hit on a big play, at least he's not going to give you, 5 to 7 catches and at least be okay. That's not his MO. Not yet. Maybe they need to work him in and see what they can do to get him more involved in the offense. But as of right now, he's been a disappointment, and I think he's going to continue to do so. So again, see if you can get some based off his name value. Now, a couple of players on this list I don't want to buy or sell is Scary Terry and J.K. Dobbins, and those guys are going to be a hold for me. Terry McLaurin just had a blow-up game on Monday Night Football for the whole world to see, so his value is at an all-time high, but at the same time, it's just one game. Is this something that's going to continue in the future, or was it just a one-game success? Again, we don't really know. So you don't want to sell him because you might have an alpha wide receiver and a great offense as Jayden Daniels is ascending. But at the same time, you don't want to buy him because, again, this might just be a one-week thing. Jayden Daniels is more scary as a rusher than a passer. 250 yards, 2 touchdowns is going to be, it's not something he's going to do on a week-to-week basis. So right now, I'm going to hold Terry McLaurin. Same thing with J.K. Dobbins. Couple of big weeks, one down week. You're not going to sell him for anything because his value is down, and you're not going to buy anything with all these injuries with the Chargers. Is this Chargers offense still going to lean on the run? As many injuries as they have now, they had Joe out, their top draft pick, injured. Justin Herbert is injured. The whole team is pretty much injured. So are they still going to try and ground and pound and be an offense that's going to wield their force on you and rush the ball for 200 yards a game? Gus Edwards is going to get involved eventually, and I hate to say it, J.K. Dobbins is not going to play the full 17 games. So right now, I'm going to hold J.K. Dobbins. So those are the most traded players in fantasy football as of week 4. And those are the players that I want to buy, hold, and sell. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week.